This show is an opinion-based show. The opinions expressed here are of the person who expressed them and not a reflection of how League Gaming or its staff speaks or thinks. This show is for mature audience.
You know what? Fuck that. You guys get so butthurt about this show and our opinions. I don't even know why I bother putting a disclaimer. You pulled the mercy card once, just contact him when you get butthurt, cause it's coming.
Are you still here? The other mic was never working.
Back to the call. Ow!
That's what happens when the one twin tries to eat the other.
And burying them in KFC and Cheetos.
Throwing them on the floor? Hi!
That's some entertainment, but nobody wants to see your balls. Uh-oh.
Welcome to the LG Doghouse. I am your host, Sir Mike Knight. With me, as always, Jet.
It is bedtime.
Air Raiders. And welcome our very special guest, Davos. All right. Davos, real quick. When we have a new member join us, new to us, obviously not new to the league, we like to get their background. So just give us a brief synopsis of you and your career in LG.
Okay, so I started playing in League Gaming back 20th NHL 13. I had a buddy who was owner who decided to take me as a draft pick, and it was the worst decision of his life because I was a terrible goalie back then. But slowly and surely, I became the goalie I am today and the commentator you guys know and love.
All right, real quick, where did that start? Because you started commentating during your games while you're playing them.
Which is awesome.
Right.
So I was, let's see. Back in the day, I was really interested in doing those kind of play-by-play things, but I didn't really have the internet speed or the equipment that was necessary to do it. So saved up a lot of money, got what I needed to do, and a lot of the guys we would do like drop-in games, we'd do club, they'd be forcing it, like, oh, dude, you need to do this. And I'd be like, no, I can't do it. And they goaded me onto it, and I pulled the trigger. And luckily, you guys enjoy it.
So we're making your dreams come true by giving you a platform to commentate week in and week out.
Oh, yeah.
Doghouse makes dreams.
We make dreams come true. We do.
It's a
We
lot
made
better.
Campos this career.
Yep.
It's a lot better than sitting in front of a computer with nobody to entertain.
Isn't it, though?
That sounds like Mike's streaming career.
Hey, I've always got the little Japanese girls. That's what Crispy always says. All right.
Let's jam.
Anyway, season 9. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 seasons. That's a record in LG. Every season that we come back is a record in LG. Anyway, so we are still the longest running show in the history of LG, and we will continue to be the longest running show in the history of LG as long as we continue. But we're going to go ahead. We've got a lot of topics to cover, and we do have a new format for this show. Jet, you want to run down that format real quick? I guess not. No? Nothing? Just going to shake your head. With your eyes
I'm just gonna shake my head. As far as the new format goes, we want to try to make it a little more available for everyone. People that tune in once a week to watch us. There's not a lot of media in the CHL, so we want people to be able to tune in 1 week's worth of LG and 1 45-minute show. So we're gonna do the Doghouse. We're gonna do what we're known for, and then we're gonna bring in some friends. We're gonna bring in everyone's favorite 5-minute guy, Mr. Major himself, and he's gonna cover some of the big things in the week the big games, the big matchups, the hot streaks, the not streaks, everything you love about Major, he's going to squeak it into this show with us. And then, what's a show without a good rant? Without 60 seconds of just going in on somebody. So we will have a weekly, somebody gets 60 seconds to just rip on whatever they want to about the league, about another player. So I'm looking forward to it. New setup should be fun.
All right. So it's good to know that Jet has a new house. Same old internet issues. I mean,
It's Discord.
did you pick the house because it's next to a McDonald's like your grandmother's is?
It's actually next to a train station. So periodically through the show, you'll hear the goal horn, and then you'll hear the.
Yeah. So you're stealing internet from the train station.
From the train as it goes by, it only comes by once every 4 hours.
we better hurry
Wi-Fi
this
as they
show
fly
up.
by.
Okay, so we had a pretty big fiasco during draft day. Well, not during draft day, but in the last couple weeks, it has finally been rectified. We call it here the draft pick fiasco. I would have Jet explain it, except nobody would be able to hear anything. So, Air Raiders, could you explain the draft pick fiasco, please?
So, as everybody knows, after the draft and before NHL bidding, a lot of those NHL teams send all their draft picks down to the CHL to make sure that they have all their available bidding spots for bidding. So when they get sent down, obviously they get RA'd. Well, with the institution of a new RA system, all those draft picks were apparently RA'd through the old system. So the CHL thought it would be a good idea to remove them all and reassign them with the new system. However, they didn't do it until after like a day into the season. I think they did it Monday. So games had already been played. Players were already on teams. And they finally removed all the draft picks and decided to randomly assign them. And there was some pissed off people in the chat box. And I think people were like mad because some people actually had these draft picks on their roster and then got them taken away. A couple of the BoGs had explained that they were informed to not call anybody up, but people don't listen. It was my opinion that they probably, after the season started, they probably should have just scrapped it. I mean, those RAs were before the season even started. Like, who cares? It didn't really I don't think it really gave too many people an unfair advantage. A lot of those draft picks get called back up anyway. So I would have just scrapped it after the first day of the season. Or they should have tried to figure out another way to get them removed before the season started instead of waiting on Tris.
I mean, Tris went on vacation for a weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, it was just the weekend.
So this was an
fishing.
ongoing problem for about 2 weeks before that, right?
About a week.
Why
And I did hear that they announced it a week prior, so probably about.
So
yeah,
why wasn't Tris informed? Because I don't see Tris as somebody who drags his feet on something like that.
I don't know. I don't know if it was.
So I've got to assume that Tris wasn't informed of this until, oh crap, he's on vacation. Now we can't tell him.
That's what it sounds like.
God damn, Jet.
I don't think they were going to do anything about it.
Okay. Do you care to elaborate? Okay.
Train left.
So yeah, the train left the station, so his internet's out. So Davos, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Raiders early that once the season started, that you probably shouldn't move or tinker with anything that is already set in stone. Like draft picks have already been moved, and you've already played games, and it's going to cause havoc and pandemonium if you decide to set in a new system and move everybody's draft picks randomly assigned. It's going to be It's going to be not a good idea, and they've put this on themselves.
Yeah, there was a lot of outrage. I know one team had, I think Shawinigan had a draft pick called up and on their roster, and then they were getting removed and reassigned. Just to play devil's advocate, maybe it wasn't a thing that they could handle without Triss, or that maybe there was nothing Triss could do about it until after the CHLRAs went out. I highly doubt it, but
Yeah, it doesn't seem Triss doesn't seem like the type of person that would just raise his hands and say, "Well, nothing I can do." Usually Triss will find a way to fix shit. I mean, he's not normally one to drag his feet. Unless
we explained how the new RA system works and how it's like completely random, 1 to 60, and no team should be getting doubles until every team gets one. So, I had mentioned to one of the idiots in purple that, fireuprandom.org, remove them yourself, fireuprandom.org, go 1 to 60, and just reassign them. Like if it was that much of an issue, and and apparently one of the managers said that it was announced a week prior that they were going to be doing it, and that managers were told they couldn't trade draft picks, they couldn't do anything with them until after that happened. So I mean, it was a whole week, and nothing got done. I mean, they have enough, in my opinion. And again, I don't, it's whatever, but in my opinion, they have enough people now with like 9-10 BoGs in the CHL to be able to, like, here's 10 draft picks a person, reassign them, please. If it was really that big a deal. Again, I don't think the early draft pick assignments give many people an unfair advantage. A lot of them get called up, but I guess they saw it as it wasn't fair.
I mean, I can see both sides, but I can also see Jet's table.
Yeah.
Can you see my face?
Jet's beautiful tablecloth.
It looks like a beach towel.
It's a beach towel.
Nice.
Anyway, do you want to weigh in on the draft pick fiasco?
Yeah, I would love to. I had a really good rant right before my phone died.
No, you didn't.
I did. It was
I asked
awesome.
you if you wanted to weigh in. You said yes, and then froze. And we're done. I said,
I went on.
"You care to elaborate?" Nothing.
I went on a 1 minute of just pure unadulterated tirade. I think the fiasco is indeed nothing more than a fiasco. The reason that it went about is people in the manager's stat started complaining that, oh, yeah, this guy got 2 draft picks. I got no draft picks. He got 4. I got 0. So people started whining and complaining like they do. So rather than just let it be, they said, okay, you know what? That's right. Which in theory was a good idea if Triss was around or if Triss knew. But, Triss is out there fishing, doing what Triss does. So meanwhile, 2 weeks go by. Nothing's done. People are asking each and every day when they're going to get reassigned. Guys on your team are complaining because they don't know if they should play for you, if you're going to trade them. The guys that are trying to trade the new owners for this DP that's never going to come to the CHL that they want 4 random assignments for, they can't make their trade. So it's throwing everybody off, and then it finally happens. A day after the season starts, so now you can't trade them. You're stuck with them for a week. They reassign everybody. Some people get 3, some people get 0. Some people get 4, some people get 1. So what was the point? What did we wait 2 weeks for when you finally reassign them? It's the exact same way. Some people still didn't get any, still wasn't a fair. And then on top of that, you messed up all the contracts, the 2-season guys that you had. It was just a mess that could have been avoided. If they would have just left the draft picks and the random assignments the way they were to start, no one would have known the difference.
So we were talking, Triss was only gone for a weekend. This was an ongoing thing for, what, a week or 2?
It took about a week and a half to get it done.
So why wasn't Triss informed? I can only assume that he wasn't informed, is what I told these guys. I can only assume that he wasn't informed because he doesn't seem like somebody who would just drag his feet on this shit.
Oh, and he's been bragging about the new RA system since we talked to him a couple weeks ago. I mean, he's been ready with the new RA system, and it still went out with the old system, and then people complained about it. And then rather than just doing it right away in the new system, I mean, does it really take 10 days to fix that?
I don't know. I'm not a programmer.
That's a Triss question. But it was definitely a long, drawn-out process that could have been avoided. If they would have just stood their ground and said, you know what, you didn't get any draft picks, you didn't get any draft picks.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Here's another fiasco. Sploosh Cole. Air Raiders.
His name's Sploosh Fiasco.
Splooshe fiasco. Yeah. Apparently, I kept hearing about, like, when I would make fun of the BoGs and talk about how Lang does nothing, everyone wanted to tell me about how he was setting up the super awesome Discord server for the CHL. I'm not in it. I know Jet is. Jet can attest to how awesome or not it is, but apparently it can't be that freaking great if Splash Cole spent time in the management chat undetected and then proceeded to go into the chat box and tell players that they were on the trade block. Or a player, I don't know how many he told, but there was a couple people were bitching. Everybody was pissed off that Splash was in there. I don't understand how someone comes into your Discord and you don't know about it. You don't know they're there. I don't know how he got a link to get in. And I don't know why anything hasn't been done about him telling people they were on the trade block. That could have actually caused a bigger issue than I think people understand. The wrong player hears they're on the trade block, and then starts all kinds of nonsense and drama about it. It could have caused a huge deal, but it seems like this is going to be just another thing that gets swept under the rug and nothing's done about.
Jet, before that train leaves the station and you lose your internet, go ahead and give us your opinion here.
I am in the manager's chat, and I mean, Lang's done a pretty good job. Discord server is a Discord server. It does a lot to do. But in that chat, there is a little investigation going on to see who gave Sploosh the link. First of all, whoever's bright idea it was to make a permanent link to the CHL manager chat was probably a bad idea. Someone gave him the link, he got in, he crept, got some who was on some people's blocks, and the next thing you know, he's in the shout box letting people know, hey, I wonder if what's his name knows that you're trying to trade for him. And people say stuff like that all the time. But when you find out the story and that he really did know, and that the person that he mentioned really is on the trade block, is ridiculous. I didn't start thinking trade problem on their hands that they wouldn't have had to deal with if Sploosh wasn't, minding his own business. And people say a lot. We're bringing up media. Why is media in the chat? I mean, Davos is in the chat doing his, his commentary thing, trying to get games for the people. I'm in there. I'm a manager, so I deserve to be in there. But it's the same thing. There's a certain code of ethics. Maybe it comes with age. I know Sploosh is a little kid. Maybe it's maturity. I know he hasn't hit that either. But at a certain thing, I mean, you got to know why join it. Like, you're not supposed to be in there. Why join it other than just to cause problems? He's got this NHL ego now that he's playing with Columbus and just thinks he's so much better than everyone else. So now that he thinks he's so much better, he's in this constant war to destroy the CHL. And it's ridiculous. Something should be done about it. If they find out who linked him to give him the link to get into the server, that should be a suspension. I think because if that's a wrong problem for a whole team.
All right, Davos, you want to weigh in?
Well, this has gone down the road that I never expect Splash Cole to go down, but he is definitely turning a page in the wrong direction of life he wants to go down. If he wants to be in the manager's chat to cause havoc, then that's his problem. And I'm glad I'm really not a part of it, because he actually wanted me to be on his team with Columbus this season, but Vatty dropped the ball, said nope. So, but I did see a little bit, but I decided to turn a blind eye and not do much about it. But
that's what the BoGs do. You should apply for BoG.
Yeah, that sounds like bog-worthy material there.
I mean, I've played hockey with him last couple seasons, so I mean, you think he'd not be that kind of person. But this is showing his character, how he acts, and now this is going to turn him into more of a public enemy than the kind of player he is.
So, you know,
Right.
people could complain about Davos being in there, but if Discord Master Lang sets it up properly, he can block Davos from being able to see the trade block or anything else that you don't really want him
And he could literally
leaking.
put Davos in his own freaking
In his
chat
own
with the
channel with
managers.
just the managers so that he can ask managers to set up the Thursday
Oh
night.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And he did. He Davos is now locked to the general chat. The fact that Cole stuck in and was able to browse is a problem. But I mean, hopefully someone deals with it. The problem happened.
I feel like Discord
I love
101
you.
is that you don't give
I need to do this stuff.
people
Okay.
who join without a specific
you.
permission the ability to see every channel. Like
Please
they
stop.
join as just a fresh
Please stop.
person, and then you
Go.
give them the management permission, and then that opens up the trade
Buddy, come
block
on.
and stuff like that. If it were done that way, Splash Cole being in there wouldn't have been an issue because he wouldn't have
Go
been
see
able to
Mama.
see shit. But instead, he
Yes.
just comes in, he can see everything. In the AHL,
Go
NHL,
give her a
we
kiss.
share a server,
She needs a kiss.
and then it's separated. Plus, all the media servers are in there. But the media people who aren't AHL and NHL management, the only thing they can see is the media server. So it's, you know,
I can see trades.
the trades, the announcements, but you can't see the trade block and stuff like that.
You know, the problem is that he wasn't sorry for what he did, or he thought it was just a big joke. And like, it may be a joke. He may have done it. He seems to hate a certain team in the OHL. He seems to hate North Bay. But now you're just taking personal vendettas. Here you are. It doesn't affect you. You're not in the CHL. Now you're just personally trying to ruin a team season by leaking who they may or may not trade. Like, that's none of your business. That's just vindictive.
It's like Ariator said, it could cause a bigger issue, and this is something that a lot of these younger people don't understand or don't care. They don't give a crap about the consequences. Something needs to be done about this. I don't give a shit. The BoGs are not doing their job. Period.
Let's
They
put
are
this in
not doing the. I've already talked to them about it. We have talked about it countless times in the show. All last season we were bitching about the BoGs, and we're going to continue to do it this season because they're not doing what they need to do in order to keep this league running well. They're not.
Now let's put it into perspective though. This is a little different, but Karoxy stops being BoG. Now he posted a couple screenshots, which again is a little different than Splash Cole's situation. But he posted a couple screenshots from the BoG chat. This man has been hit with a permanent chat mute, and he's on the slow site. Like he can't do anything on this. I don't think he can forum post either. So he is basically just in LG purgatory right now. He can still play and everything like that, but he can't interact with anyone for that. But then you have this going on with Splash Cole, and apparently, again, we should probably clarify in case they, the CHL is slow, so they may decide to do something about it before the show comes out. But as
Hopefully
of
they do.
Thursday, when we're recording this, nothing's been done, and I hope something gets done about it. And that's nothing against Splash, but you as McDonald loves to say famously, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right?
The fact that he's been able to join an NHL team, highest level play can go, and he's decided to waste his time with stuff like this.
Well, he knows he belongs down here. That's why he spends all his time down here.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the BoGs not doing their jobs. Let's revisit that because I believe we have something for that. Crispy the Cat has graced us with an educational video, and we want to show you that right now. Crispy, the cat.
Ban 'em
For that,
all.
ban them all. Ban them all. Love that little kid. Cute. Anyway,
That's the future CHL commissioner right there.
yep. Ban them all. It's Titus Jr. is what it is. Titus Jr. So that's not a very good segue into this next topic, but there is no real good segue into this next topic, and that is racism. And specifically air raiders. Specifically about racism you wanted to talk about?
Well, I feel like it's not punished evenly across the board. We've seen a lot of stuff, and this goes back to last season. Last season, Magic dropped some racial slurs on his stream, caught an actual league ban. But then we saw the same thing with Jason down here in the CHL. Did it, I think, 2 or 3 times, and caught chat mutes that he then bought out. And then even more recently, right after bidding or even during bidding, the Everett Silvertips management and some players decide to come into the chat box and just be completely racist. They catch league bans. So it's starting to get a little confusing on where we draw the line. I mean, I think the clips of Jason doing it were like the most watched clips on Twitch ever. Just from LG rewatching it, like, holy crap, I can't believe he said that. But that's just chat mutes. And it's not, again, like, everybody's going to think, like, I have a personal thing against people, but it's not. It's just, if you're going to do it one way for some people,
Please
it has
go.
to be the same way for everyone else.
Please, Daddy has to do this.
And it makes it look weird, because even some of these, I mean, we've seen it in the chat box before. Someone will say it, and it'll be like a 1-week chat mute. So it's like, I don't know. I don't understand.
It's one of those things that it should be a zero tolerance. Like, it's a league where everyone's here to be competitive. Everyone's here to have fun. There's a lot of different things you can do in this league. And in all those different aspects you can take and avenues you can play in this league, none of them have a place for racism. None of them have a place for words. People like to justify it. Well, I'm saying it in a friendly manner. There's some things that you just can't say in a public forum and in a public place. There's some things you can't say at your job. There's some things you can't say in your Sunday night hockey league. You can't say certain things because you're going to get trouble. And people don't care. People come in, I don't know if they're just arrow drunk, where they come in and just say whatever they want and no one can say anything to them. Or, if they do have a place of hate in their heart, whatever the case may be. But there's no need for anything like that. And I think the Jason thing, going back to it, I mean, me and Jason have had our problems. He's still mad that I swept him 2 seasons ago. But Jason said something very awful, and he said it with a really mean connotation behind it, a very hate-filled, angry. That's just his personality. He's an angry person. He's loud. What came across was not good. And that's a stream that was promoted by the league. What if a sponsor sees that? It was a playoff game. That was a big game of the night. He watched it, sponsor clicks on it, and that's what you hear. I mean, the league's got a hold, especially people that are streaming that have their name on it. It said LG game on the stream. I mean, stuff like that, that's got to be handled seriously. A 1 week chat meet that someone can buy out, it's not going to be the same. And, hats off to Cheadle, who during that whole Everett fiasco immediately stepped in, woke up, and banned both players, muted them in the chat for a week. And then the league did do something. I mean, they caught season bans. They removed them from management. They did what they were supposed to do. And I think that should be the precedent. I think if that's what we're going to do, then that's what we need to stay consistent. There's no gray areas. The league loves gray areas, but that's one of the few things in life that there's no gray areas on. If you come into the chat and act hateful, racist, all sorts of things. I mean, we get people all the time telling people to kill themselves and do different stuff like that. I mean, a lot of times people joke, people take it too far, but there's no place for that. In a league that's trying to get sponsors, in a league that's no money involved, there's no need to be that hateful to another person. And if it does, it needs to be reprimanded.
I mean, it comes down to how you present yourself in real life. I mean, I don't use any of those words ever on at any point. I've actually had somebody who I've had an African American friend who's told me that I could, and I said, no, man, I just can't. Like, I can't form that word.
What?
You know what I mean? Like, it's just with a hard R or an A, I can't. I just can't. My mouth does not form it. And it's something that I've trained myself from an early age. I really didn't have to train myself because I'm white. But it's just ridiculous that everyday life anybody could use that. I don't even agree with black people using it. I mean, I get it. It's cool. They can do whatever they want. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. Davos, go ahead.
Having to deal with the behavioral problems of the league over the last couple seasons, you see it constantly in the forums and the chat. Sometimes you think people are getting too full of themselves and kind of have that ego about them, and no one can stop them from doing what they do. And it's going to keep the site from getting the higher lengths that it needs to be in order to get these esports sponsors. Maybe somebody wants to help them update the site. Maybe somebody wants to give them a shot for an esports. I don't know, but this is something that might need to be looked at down the road. But it's never going to end, because people are people, and they're sometimes not going to change.
Speaking of
I just wanted to wait. No, don't segue, Mike. I don't want people to think that it's the snowflake society. Everyone's just getting butthurt about nothing. It is a problem. Obviously, the word that everyone goes back to is the N-word, the hard R, the lack of the hard R, however you want to phrase it. But if we remember last season, Mr. Bam Loops Blazer, our very own I'm Sean Avery, took a whole season to mute. He couldn't post in the chat, couldn't post in the forum, because he related something to Hitler and Jewish people. And, we get a lot of Jewish slurs in there as well. Jason, right after he bought out his mute for his first little fiasco, immediately went in and started being racist in that way too. I mean, it's not just one word, one set of words. It's a way you act and a way you present yourself. I mean, real professional athletes get fined for stuff like that, and we're not going to do anything about it on a free little website that's supposed to imitate real sports. I mean, stuff like that has got to have real consequences.
I absolutely agree.
And you know what, Mike? Every time I see racism, I just want to throw down.
Speaking of throwing down,
Nailed it.
The LG Doghouse presents Thursday Night Throwdown. This is going to be the title for our new commentary with Davos and yours truly, and one of these two on the ice.
Maybe both.
But there's something specific we wanted to talk about, and that's the fact that these games are being moved to Thursday night. This has not been a problem in the past. All of a sudden, it is a huge issue, and everybody on this panel has about a different position on this. So this should be interesting. Air Raiders, start us off.
Stop being a bunch of bitches. We're trying to give you as much. We're trying to give you as much notice as possible. Davos is in the chat. If you have a game on your schedule that you think you want to have commentary for, get with that team. Say, hey, can we do this? Then talk to your players. Hey, can one line be available for Thursday? It's just 6 guys. It's not, we're not asking you to change all your games to Thursday and play your whole team in a day. It's just one line of guys, 6 people that, you can do it. Like, just give us a chance to do commentary, and then everyone will start loving it again. Jet's wife will make an appearance once in a while, unless that's the aircraft carrier bringing groceries, doing his laundry for him still. So yeah, like, she probably thinks he's the craziest person in the world right now.
My wife just did the same thing that the aircraft carrier did. She did, rather than just walk across the screen like a normal person, she bear crawled underneath the table into the kitchen.
So what's her nickname now?
I don't know. We need to get her a nickname.
We'll figure it out. We'll
We'll
call it.
work
Maybe we'll
on it.
call
We'll
it.
community
Maybe we'll
vote.
call her Twin Jets.
Babe,
Anyway.
I broke your candle.
Oh, God. All right, Jet, we have a show to do. Jet.
Oh no!
Don't tell her about the candle till after the show.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's a good thing. It's a good thing he told her, because I want to see him get his ass beat on camera like I always do.
All right. Anyway,
Basically, yeah. So it boils down
speaking
to
of throwdown,
be a bitch. Just get us a game, get us 6 guys, and let us run this. Because you know what it is. What's going to end up happening is after Davos sets up a couple of games, everybody's going to want it, and then we're going to have to start telling people no. So get in while we're asking for people to help.
Get in
us
while
out.
the getting's good.
Yeah, because if you're one of these teams that are giving us shit, Davos isn't going to pick you later on when you finally decide, like, oh wow, that's really cool. I want our team to be doing it.
So Davos, what are some of the complaints that we're hearing?
So when I first presented the idea for the Thursday Night Throwdown in the chat, a lot of it was positive, and a lot of the guys thought it was a good idea. But I had a few suggestions that it wasn't a lot of managers, but it was a good few. It was a good few. Basically, a couple of them thought that it would stall the transaction period. So if a game was to be played on Thursday, that no one could make trades or do their transactions at the earliest convenience. And I was confused for a little bit, thinking I'm like, that's why. Mike, if you want to take it, go ahead.
Yeah, let me just throw something out there. If you're talking about trying to trade somebody who is in a Thursday night game, don't.
You shouldn't have him in a Thursday night highlight.
Why do you have him in a Thursday night game if you're going to trade him? Second of all, if it's a time constraint, hold on. I'm on a roll here. Shh. And if it's about the time constraint, okay, you taking a Thursday to get a game ready instead of doing transactions. First of all, it's a half-hour game. I'm gonna go all moist show on you. Hold on, give me a second. First of all, it's a half-hour game. Okay, so that's a half hour that you don't get to do transactions, or you don't schedule yourself or your GM so that they can do transactions while the game's being played. I don't understand how this interferes with the transactions at all. Which up until 2 seasons ago, we had Thursday night games every Thursday. Could you imagine? Thursday night games every Thursday. Can you believe it? Yes, it happened. What's the big deal? It's not a Friday night. We're not talking about interrupting your bro time or going out with your girl and drinking. All right. We're talking about a Thursday night. Nobody goes on a fucking Thursday night. Are you kidding? It's mind fucking blown. I haven't used that in a while. Mind fucking blown. This is ridiculous. Jet.
Well, the reason it's a big deal now is because for 2 seasons we haven't had Thursday games. So people that are new to the league, or people that you don't remember the good old days where you had to play an extra day in the week, people are used to only having to play till Wednesday. Asking to move 6 guys in a summer season where it's already impossible to get 6 guys scheduled consistently it's tough. In order for people to be able to do it, I mean, we have to let them know before. My schedule's done by Saturday. By Sunday morning, my guys know what days they're playing, and that's it. We're not changing it. If you can't make it, you're getting ECU'd. And that's it. I mean, I know that's how a lot of managers do it.
Hey, Davos, how long ago did you get into the managing chat?
Probably good more than 24 hours.
Okay, so 24 hours ago, it was what, Wednesday?
How many trade blocks have you leaked?
Wednesday. So he got in on Wednesday. So if he's asking for people on Wednesday to play next Thursday, is that not enough time to get 6 people?
Yeah, as long as it's done. If you can get it done by Friday, so people can make their schedules with that Thursday game in mind, then that's fine. And then going back to the transactions that you were talking about, I don't think that was a problem. Is people being able to make transactions because that game's going on. People are worried because trades are supposed to be done as soon as the week is over. So people are used to the week's over on Wednesday. Maybe they'll push trades through Wednesday night or Thursday morning. The bottom line is now Thursday, it's 7:40 California time, so take that accordingly. Trades just now got processed. So I don't understand what one extra 30-minute game at 7 o'clock is going to do. I mean, it's not going to change anything. The BoGs are lazy. The trades are going to come out when they come out. It's not going to change anything whether we have a Thursday night game or anything. I love the Thursday night. I love the showcase. But as long as it's done in a timely manner where I can set my schedule and have my guys ready to play Thursday, then it's fine.
Let me just say, I understand where you're coming from, Jet, because you're used to Captain Campos. Mr. Last Minute Campos, who would try to get people to reschedule their Wednesday games on Wednesday to Thursday.
And I think that's where the concern comes from, is because that's what people are used to. People aren't used to a hard worker like Davos. They're used to Captain Campos.
So
yeah, that's the thing though. Like right now, you could be in your team chats going, "Hey, next week, can anyone play Thursday? No? How about the week after that?" You don't have to have a specific team that you're trying to play. Just find out if you can get a guy on any week to play Thursdays. And if you can, hey, this Thursday we might be able to do one of our games. So then Davos can even go, okay, North Bay says this Thursday they can do their game. Let's see who they play this week. And then reach out to those 9 other teams.
Shit, we'll do the work. We'll do the work for you. If you have 6 guys, message Davos. Davos will look at your schedule and go.
That's the fact, though, because I've had at least 8 or 9 managers messaging me about what Thursday night throwdown is, or like what's the whole process going to be, or like see if we have a team that is also interested in doing it, and see if we can meet in the middle and get this thing rolling. And I've actually been able to get 2 teams down.
Okay.
For next week.
Well, here we go. Here's what's going to happen. When the episodes are aired, Davos will get the link to it. Davos will post it into the Discord. I'm going to start a LG Doghouse YouTube channel. You can go ahead and look at all of them in there. When the new one comes out, post it in there, Davos. Then these managers will know what the hell Thursday night throwdown is.
Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, and then everybody will be like, "Oh my god, we want to do that! It's so cool."
Yeah.
We didn't want to help you 3 weeks ago, but now we want to be on it.
And those that have been around for a little bit and have actually seen the Doghouse presents any kind of commentary, it's actually pretty entertaining and it's fun. So come on out. We're gonna
People love the Davos goal call.
We're gonna be doing them all on twitch.tv/LG Doghouse, which is our new Twitch channel. If you are not following it, go follow it now. That way you won't miss a thing. Hit that little notification button. You won't miss anything. Tell you when you go live. All right. I don't have a good segue. No, all the
that was a
segues
major
stupid,
announcement.
don't they? Speaking of major, here is the 5-minute major, the new video version of the 5-minute major, with your very own B major.
Another season of LGCHL hockey is upon us, and week 1 brought lots of action, lots of names, and a lot to talk about here today. So welcome to the 3rd season of the 5-minute major. B major here to bring you all of the action, all of the key stats, names, and games to know throughout week 1. A little bit different this season for the 5-minute major, teaming up with the LG Doghouse, making it a segment for pretty much each and every week. I thank those guys for giving the opportunity, and a big shout out to them. Should be interesting to see how this goes. Tell me how you guys like it. Usually we do it through the LGCHL forums and do the write-ups for everyone to read. We'll still be doing that here and there, but the main 5-minute major to be here on the LG Doghouse. So tell me how you guys like it, what to improve and whatnot. But let's get right into the action. A lot to talk about through week 1. A lot of action, a lot of things to go through. So let's get right into it. Let's enter the penalty box and begin our first edition for season 30 of the 5-Minute Major.
All right, welcome back. Major, thank you for putting on a clean shirt. Your mom would be proud. So let's get into the doghouse.
Just took one.
There
In
it is.
preparation.
All right. Well, my
the
doghouse
You are.
for this first week, I'm gonna start off my crusade against Upper League Dodgers, or people who dropped down. And it's gonna be none other than Sensei dropped down. He was in the chat box the other day spewing this whole story about like, oh, I wanted to manage with fuck's his face, one of his
Deceptive.
yeah, one of his Owen Sound boys. But their AHL team wouldn't move his rights, so I came down here. And, you know, something just didn't sit right with me about the story. So I messaged Mr. Jude Lapolsky about it. And he did say that if he had his way, Deceptive would have been playing for him. But like, Sensei didn't even try to take management in the AHL, so how would he know that they didn't want to move him? And if they didn't want to move him, why'd they give him permission to come down? So I'm wondering if he got permission to actually take management. So that should be looked into. But yeah, basically it just boils down to Sensei being a pussy. And then he didn't even come on Doghouse for me to say it to his face. He was supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Shame.
Davos, who's in the doghouse?
My pick for Doghouse this week is definitely going to be Splash for potentially causing a pandemonium in the CHL managing chat and somehow getting away with it for now.
It's fine.
Is Jet here?
I'm here. I'm ready. I'm waiting for my name to be called.
Jet, who's in the doghouse?
You know, Davos, you can tell you're new to the Doghouse because you're still really, really nice. It'd be none other than Sploosh Cole. You gotta grow up, bro. I understand you're 15 or 16. You act like you're 11. You're always also 15. To accept the chat and invite to go to a place to be, I understand it's thrilling for him to do something illegal. It makes him fit that rapper image that he's trying so desperately to achieve. But nobody wants you in the CHL chat. We don't want you. You think you're a biggie. You scored 60 points once, and now you're in the NHL. Stay in the NHL. Bug them, complain to them, whine to them. Don't come into the CHL shout box talking about how good you are and how much better you are than everyone else. Don't come into the manager's chat. You choked in the management chat last year, choked in the CHL last year. There's no need for you to be in there. Nobody wants you in there. Obviously, the only reason you're in there is to settle some score, sign some sort of score, be vindictive, be petty, just overall be childish. And I understand you're a child, but at some point you got to be bigger than how childish you are. You got to be more mature. You got to grow up just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like maybe to Train's level, just a tad more where you're not being placed you're not supposed to be. You're ruining the league for the people that are still in the CHL. Congratulations on being a biggie. With that attitude, you're never going to stay a biggie. You'll be back here next season.
There you go. Now I have some inside information, and that is that Zeno has been told that he has to watch every episode of the LG Doghouse. So welcome to viewership, Zeno. You are in the Doghouse. Now, the reason Zeno's in the Doghouse is not necessarily because of anything he did, but because of what a group of people that he is in charge of did. They have continuously, and I've had conversations with Zeno about this multiple times, fucked up. Period. Whether it be one of our two newest BoGs, coming into the chat box as soon as he gets his little power and goes, "Hey, somebody do something stupid so I can ban you." Who does that? Or, and here's a great one. We try to do commentary last season. We say, "Hey, can somebody promote me?" And we get, who was it? T-Hens?
Tackle.
It was Tackle. I don't care about your show. I mean, anything we do here is for the betterment of the league, especially commentary. Commentary, we're taking time out of our schedule, setting all this stuff up for you guys, the viewers, and for the league as a whole. So the fact that the BoGs are telling us we don't give a shit about your show, even if it's just one BoG, and I know the excuse, he didn't know that we played favorite. He didn't want to seem like we were playing favorites between the two shows. Meower doesn't do this stuff. I mean, you can go ahead, and if we're doing something and Meower isn't doing something live, promote us. Why? If the Meower's doing something live and we're not doing something live, I expect them to be promoted. They're media. They're CHL media. Okay, there is no whatever. I'll get into Captain Paul's rant sometime.
It kind of felt like a stab in the back, to be honest.
It absolutely did. It felt terrible. And then there's this whole Splash colon. But I think the straw that broke the camel's back was long before Splash colon. And that was one of our own getting banned from bidding. What the shit, dude? Okay, so yes, Raiders, you know what you did was wrong.
Maybe I'm still not 100%.
Just give yourself a slap on the hand real quick. Okay.
You should have just been racist. It would have been less of a punishment.
I could have bought him out.
After he did that, after he got banned and he did what he did, Raiders here starts pointing out what everybody else is doing the same exact thing he just did. Cheadle's in the chat box. Nothing. Freaking Tackle's in the chat box. Nothing. He's even calling him up by name. Hey, Cheadle, do your job. Nothing. Nothing. And I don't think I have permission to say the BoGs name. I have been told by 2 different people, but I'm not sure if I have permission, so I'm not going to. Just to betray their... You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. Fuck you, Golden Aces.
Mike just lost his game sharing partner.
Fuck you.
No more Ark for Sir Mike Knight.
I haven't played Ark in forever. I don't really care. I have it on my computer anyway. Anyway, that's my rant. Zeno, you're in the doghouse because you can't control your minions. And
I just could have did it.
I mean, I get it. You've been doing this for umpteen seasons, since the birth of the CHL. This is your baby. But at some point, you need to look at the people you have and say, okay, they're not getting it done. I need to take a more active role. I mean, before you had Mercy and you had iCheap and you could trust them and they got shit done. Now you don't have anybody like that. You don't have a number 2. I get that you're splitting up the leagues and you got one person in charge and one underling in each league, but that's still not enough because these BoGs do not know what they're doing. They have no clue. I mean, I suggest just replaying the Crispy the Cat video over and over and over again with their eyes taped wide open until it seeps into their freaking brain.
Clockwork Orange style.
Those are my thoughts, not yours. This has been the Doghouse. But first, new segment. It is the final bark. And this week, it is me.
All right, I'm Sir Mike Knight, and this is the final bark. I'm going to talk about the Moist Show. If anybody saw this, I could only get past about the first 5 minutes of it. It started out like any media show ever does, and that's by making fun of the Doghouse first. Any media show that wants to be anybody makes fun of the Doghouse, and normally they don't do it very well. Rarely you'll get the good quip. Most of the time you'll get something that the Moist Show did, and that was call us the Dog Shed and talk about how I talk in front of my kids. Anyway, so moving on, we're also going to talk about, he tries to talk about Notorious Fat and how he is wearing a black shirt sitting in a black couch while he is sitting in a chair in front of a green screen that he's not using. At the same time, talking about somebody's shirt while he has a homemade cutoff, drinking a beer, holding out his ILS arms. Just absolutely insane. But the best part is when he's sitting here talking about the media shows, and I believe he was mentioning the the Overdrive is what he was trying to get at, and he's talking about how they're talking to the mic like this and you can't hear anything they say. And then he proceeds to lean back from his mic, so you can't hear anything he says. Like, talk about the teams and how they're doing, because that was entertaining. Leave the making fun of people, the people who are actually good at it, like the Doghouse.
That's all the time we have for this episode of the LG Doghouse. From myself, Aerators, Jet, and the wonderful voice, that's Davos, LG. Vape away.
Should we actually vape? I can't see. Yeah, you just on the no vaping list.
You missed me. Didn't you do the live show where I had to do it for him?